Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Football Uncensored podcast. Monday evening, as we speak and record during the Chelsea West Ham game, about 20 minutes to go. Um, John, how are you doing, mate? One of the first things we're going to talk about is a good weekend for London teams. We've got two of them playing at the moment. We'll probably know the result by the time we finish recording. But I know, obviously, Arsenal was the standout result really yesterday.
Yeah,
Maybe not entirely the weekend, but 5-1 home to City. I think we should probably start there. It's a bit of a headliner.
yeah, it was good. Yeah, I like London clubs to do well and the British clubs to do well in Europe. But selfishly, I prefer London clubs to try and do well in the cups and in the league. I watched. I only showed a brief highlights, concentrating on it, so you can't really get a big grip on the shape. And um, it just occurred to me that they seem to want it more, played at a better tempo. Arsenal got wired into them. Then you've got all these things coming together where you've got, to quote Perry Groves, he said, you're watching the end of an era. So I was listening to the commentary on the radio as I was trying to do a bit of work. I was out driving, and I think he's right. You know what I mean? I think all these things, all factors, and we know the game, it's peaks and troughs. City have dominated for a long time, tremendous amount of trophies in the last few years. Yeah, but then again, it might just be a one-off result because I can't see anyone. I think it probably put paid to City's title hopes. Clawing back the points because I said I wouldn't write them off. I said about 4 or 5 weeks ago, don't write them off yet. I think they had that 6-0
Yeah.
with someone. Was it Ipswich? Who your lot beat yesterday. But yeah, since then it's just there's something that's not quite right. So I think it's going to be a um very much a process of temporary rebuild, and he's going to have to try and influence a new group of players. Simple as that. Yesterday, um, yeah, I thought Arsenal dominated in all areas. I thought they defended well in numbers. Like I say, they played at a cracking tempo. They did that. I mean, it's maybe a borderline disrespectful, but I thought they were like on the verge of actually bullying City, and um, and then they just seemed to lose their way. There was they weren't at all. There was no coherence, no togetherness, no leaders, no one shaking their fist of trying to stir things up. Even when they equalised, they just seemed to be very flat. Whereas Arsenal seemed to want it, and they got wide into them, and they played against City the only way that I've said you can play against City, which is, if they push you back in terms of layers going through the three thirds and passing. Arsenal had the discipline to make good recovery runs, retreat, and defend in numbers. But when they went up the field, and they pressed well, and then they forced the ball back, they pressed again. Um, what I've always said, I don't think you can concede ground to City. Um, and the pressing from the front on most occasions was fantastic. And they managed to pinch the ball back. I think if you look at it, the majority of the time in the middle third, and dare I say it, sometimes even in their attacking third, City's defensive third. As for the goals, you'd be disappointed with a lot of things. The way the goals came about, some of it self-enforced, some of it lack of concentration, discipline, and like I say, wanting it, the will to get up and maybe get a ball smashed in your face. The way they like sort of backed off of the left back and he curled one in, then the other guy who came on, the other Arsenal kid come on, they backed off him and then he's in cut inside and bent it. Funny thing is, I tried it years ago with a boy called Dempsey, Mark Dempsey, left-footed. Um, and then he was all right, but he weren't getting a lot of joy. And there was Danny Carter on the right, all right, but not getting a lot of joy. I just said swap over. So you're coming in on your stronger foot. And people thought I was crazy. They said he's mad. What's he doing? Because I just said to him, get inside and let a few shots go. Um, and that's what he did. And I think it might have been the Peterborough game. We won 4-1. Yeah. So yeah, well pleased with that. Obviously my boyhood club, both in terms of
Mm.
being brought up as an Arsenal supporter and also going there, they're attending their academy. So yeah, it was a cracking result.
You said about the title race, and Um, yeah, quite right. If probably 4 or 5 episodes ago, maybe you said don't rule City out, as you say. I think they're now. I think they're now 15, 16 points behind Liverpool, and you've got 14 games to go. So it is a lot to make up. I mean, even Arsenal are still 6 behind Liverpool, and Liverpool got that game in hand.
I mean,
So
yeah, yeah. That one happened. City are out of it now. So now the other thing was having predicted Liverpool. So I'm gonna carry on what I said last year. I thought Klopp let the cat out the bag too soon, as I've said on previous episodes a long time ago.
mm,
With regards to him leaving the club, that knocked 10% off of players' motivation, maybe um, off of their performance levels. I don't know what happened. Um, Other than it can have an effect because they're wondering, like it brings confusion. Having been in that environment, experienced that environment on both sides of the fence, who's coming in next, what's going to happen. Um, I said I'm going to stick with Liverpool, and I said it in August, and then I underpinned it when I said we'll have a look again in October. I underpinned it again, and I'm going to stick with Liverpool all the way through now. The only thing that remains to be seen is whether I don't think it'll be Chelsea now. Unless they get something out of tonight. They really needed to win tonight. And you told me they went 1-0 down, even though they've equalised. I think it remains to be seen whether it's Arsenal or Chelsea who actually come second to them. If they're not careful, Newcastle could even be out of the picture in terms of the top four after the Fulham result, which was a phenomenal result. Again, they didn't look at it. Newcastle didn't look at it. And Liverpool, sorry, beg your pardon, Fulham they look fresher, look a yard sharper. And I think he's done another one who's done a fantastic job. The guy there. They hit the buffers a bit, Bournemouth, but I expected it. I was having a little laugh with one of the guys in one of the fish shop I go in up off of Tottenham Court Road, and he said, "Go on, give me a four-timer for tomorrow." So I gave him Forest, Liverpool, Ipswich, and what was the other one? Newcastle. Newcastle and Ipswich let me down, or let him down. He's gonna hammer me when we go in. When the next time I go in for a bit of haddock or a chicken kebab.
oh, to be
He's
fair,
done his dough. He's done his dough. I just
uh,
say to him, "That'll teach you a lesson. You shouldn't gamble."
I think they probably.
We're not sponsored by anyone. They use my catchphrases, but they don't. I use my catchphrases on all these adverts, but they don't send me a few quid. You
We've
know what
got
I
to
mean?
sort that.
So
We've got to sort that out, John. That
yeah.
catchphrase thing. But I think it's fair to say Newcastle and Ipswich probably done a few people in. I'm in the predictions game at work, and a lot of people tumbled out with Newcastle. Didn't really
No, I didn't see
see
that
that
coming.
coming.
Yeah.
But it's the last 2 or 3 episodes we've recorded. We kind of we've spoke about a specific team who have been on a roll, and they've been. I think we've done it with going back a few. We've done it with Chelsea, and then they sort of seem to drop right off. We highlighted Brentford's home form a few weeks ago. I think they've lost 4 out of 5 at home since, including getting beat by Spurs at the weekend. And Spurs haven't won since they smashed Southampton in December. So it's
Yeah.
and then Bournemouth got beat by Liverpool yesterday. Okay, that's Liverpool. It's not a great shock. But then last week they smashed they smashed Forest last week, battered Newcastle the week before.
Yeah.
And it's the sort of third, fourth, fifth, sixth,
Up for
seventh.
grabs, mate. It's all up for
It's
grabs, because they all think they're beating one another. I
yeah,
think
I
I
think
think the ones that are down there now, they're more or less down. I think the Ipswich, Southampton, you can write them off for sure. Sorry to say, but
well,
yeah. I mean, going back to that, the other thing up nearer the top, Liverpool. It's probably out of them. You know what I reckon it's at. It's probably that I can't see any. I can't see anyone. It's probably out of Liverpool and Real Madrid for the Champions League. I think that Liverpool are that good. Probably Madrid again. You know what I mean? I can't see City in the vein of form they're in getting anything against them.
I was
It'd be a
just going to
minor
say they
minor
drawn.
miracle if they do. They've gone out, they've spent big money again and bought some players in, but with his Rickett on his debut, the young kid at centre back, he obviously don't fancy who's there. and he's tried to persevere with a few. He's had a catalogue of injuries, John Stones, and he's come at the end of it, like I said, he would be with England, because England could be struggling. Because apart from I'm looking at him, Maguire yesterday. You booked him as one of the leaders. I thought that and the Palace thing at United and Arsenal were the results of the weekend. No disrespect to Spurs. I thought Spurs played with a nice bit of arrogance. I thought the key for them was the two Son and Kulusevski. I thought they were the keys to their performance. Um, so blinding result at Brentford, but although not unexpected. Um, Big games coming up in the second leg of the League Cup semi-finals. Yeah, but I'm looking at it, Rob. For me, Palace tremendous discipline and shape and the way they sort of played as a unit, no gaps, and then they punished United twice. You know, one was the free kick knocked back across and in. What was the other one? He just went, well, I think he faded it in, then he swept it away. I think it got ricocheted and he swept it in. But I'm looking at cheating, really, borderline cheating. Because I remember coaches saying to me or someone I was playing alongside, particularly at Chelsea and Leighton Orient under Brian Eastick, both times actually, that's cheating. He said that's when you're trying to play offside blind. You don't, you know what I mean? The ball's been switched and you're hoping it's offside, but it's not really. So the kid with the short dreadlocks, he he was found wanting and maybe a bit of a wannabe Rio Ferdinand. He gave the geezer a couple of yards. He was never going to catch him. Maguire was nowhere near it. He had his hand up open. It was offside. Um, yeah, so
Euro, wasn't it, the young lad?
that's the one.
Euro
That's the
paid
one. Yeah,
they
yeah.
paid 40, 50, 60 or whatever it was for him.
Amazing.
I
Don't
think
buy a lot now, does it? I was
uh,
born in the wrong era. I was born in the wrong era. Yeah, don't it's 60 million don't buy a lot now. That seems to me these days. You know what I mean? Just nonsense, complete and utter nonsense. And then you look at their lack of threat up front. He's clutching at straws. You know what I mean? Playing one of your best midfield players in a sort of a false nine.
yeah,
Um,
that was a bit of a
yeah,
weird one, wasn't it?
Kobe. Yeah, yeah. Nonsense, complete and utter nonsense. I'm like, what is going on at one of the biggest clubs, one of the biggest football clubs in the world? Literally clutching at straws. He might have seen him have a decent half hour in training or something. Said, "Yeah, we'll try this." You know, what I mean, yeah, the two white men, fair, uh, what's his name? The little black kid on the right, Fred with
um,
blistering pace. Um,
Diallo,
yeah, and is it who was it on the left? Garnacho.
Garnacho, yeah.
Yeah, no, you can't play, and then you've got the geezer on the bench. You know what I mean? Just you've got two centre forwards on the bench. What's that about?
That's what I was just going to say, Johnny. I know they're not exactly tearing up trees, are they? Hoyland or Xerxes, the other one. They have, I think, well, literally the odd flash in the pan this season, the odd goal. So you want more from your centre forward, but to keep two on the bench and play a young central midfielder who's probably arguably their best central midfielder at the moment, and stick
Yeah.
him up front there, seem like you say, desperate, clutching at straws, call it what you will, but either way certainly proved the wrong decision for him, and yet another defeat.
Sometimes, listen, sometimes it can pay off, sometimes it can't.
Yeah.
This thing, I had it myself. I don't know if you remember um my tirade in the dressing room when went you big and you or you little and you big
I think I can remember it.
so and so. Yeah. Well, the big one was Mark Warren, who was never coached, got by on sheer athleticism and power. Started as a right back, um, could play as a central defender at youth level because of his pace and his power. Was never really taught the game, bless him. And then I took a chance because he'd had a few games. I played him a couple of times in the reserves at centre forward, and I played him centre forward, and it can go for you or against you. It went for him against Peterborough. He scored that trick. We beat Peterborough 4-1 at home. And then in the Auto Windshield area final, two-legged final against Birmingham, he had three one-on-ones with a goalkeeper, two away and one at home. And the away leg, we only lost 1-0. And he had two one-on-ones with a goalkeeper, three one-on-ones with a goalkeeper. And when the first one hit his legs, I shouted over to him. I said, "You get another one, Mark." I said, "Just sit him down." I said, "And just lift it." And that's what he did. And he hit the bar.
Ah,
All you've got to do is just stink it, scoop it over him. But
mm.
it just didn't have the technique.
At least
Um,
he listened to you, John.
yeah. One of the odd occasions. And then the other one he put wide. You know what I mean? So it can pay off or not, as the case may be. And
Mm.
it patently never yesterday for United. I just thought they look borderline shambolic. They're losing the plot there. And he persevering with the three centre backs. If they shred three centre backs or a back five like they did yesterday, Palace, then you really are scraping the barrel. You know what I mean? With regards to coming up with ideas.
Yeah. I think I think they lost. I think you spoke about him on last week's episode, or if it wasn't, it was the week before. Martinez, the RG, who plays in that. I think he plays either in the middle or the left of the back centre three centre halves for United. I think he went down injured yesterday, and he's. I think I read today he's done his ACL or something like that, and he's gone for the season.
Who's that? Who?
Martinez, yeah, I think we talked about him last week or the week
Oh, I
before.
see him. I see him plant his foot, but then again, that's because these things happen. They can happen if you're half a yard out, and he was trying
Mm.
to make up the ground. He made up the ground, and then I think as he planted his left foot, you sort of see his knee open up. I watched it in slow motion, and I see his left leg, and I see his left knee open up, and it opened up, and I thought if he's lucky, he might get away with a medial ligament or a medial cartilage.
No, I think I read today.
Posh name is meniscus, but yeah. So if it's an ACL, that's a big loss because I like him and I like the way he defends. He's got that that thou shalt not pass. It's a funny thing was I've done an interview like a conciliatory or reconciliation interview with Terry Howard the other week over lunch with a Daily Telegraph journalist because of the game coming up between City and Orient, or well, Orient are at home, Orient v City in the cup. I think it's the first game on Saturday.
Yeah,
It's the
Courthouse
first
Square, I
game,
think.
yeah, on telly. I think it's a 12:45 kickoff. And as they asked how we'd describe ourselves as players, and then how would you describe each other as players? And I don't know whether it will make the article. We were to and froing, and Terry said, "Well, I'd say that it's was very uncompromising." So I said, "Well, there you go." You know, what I mean, I never had credit for the fact that I was totally dominant in the air, very good in the air, very good in the tackle, could read the game, boss the people in front of me and around me, which I probably should have done more of at Chelsea. Could control and pass with both feet. It was two-footed. That's passing and control, not the tackles, unless it was called for. I
Good
said, and
clarification.
he says uncompromising. But I just said I'll take that as a compliment anyway. I said because there's no room for compromise on a football field, especially at professional level. So I don't know whether that will make the article. And the other thing was about the incident in inverted commas, and he said, I think maybe given your time, you'd do it different. I said, yeah, I would. I said, and it upset me for a long time. He said, well, I did predict it to do you more harm than me. I said, well, you got that one right. And I said, but I got on with your mum and dad. I met your mum and dad. I knew your sister. I got on with your sister. I got on with your brother-in-law. I knew all your family. I said, I was gutted. I said, but I was fed up with being squashed between what was going on at playing level and some people who were, let's say, economical with the truth and hypocritical in the boardroom with regards to what they were saying to you. And then when they were coming back to me, what they were saying to me. So I said, I apologise. So I looked like as in waiting for a response. And I said to the journalist, and it probably won't make the article. I said, it's funny how he's not apologised for being overweight constantly and a poor professional and a bad trainer and his poor performances and letting me down when we were meant to be friends. You know what I mean? So maybe it's the bigger person that actually accepts his wrongdoing and acknowledges it and then apologises. So I don't know. Maybe it will make the article, maybe it won't.
Did you have a
Um,
mouthful of lunch at that point while you were waiting for him to apologise for
no, it
being
was before
overweight
it
or
was
not?
served, and he didn't have a starter. So I don't know whether he was trying to impress me. I had two starters. Two starters. Obviously, one was for sharing, but if they didn't want to share, then I said, "Oh, okay, I'll eat the lot."
Fair
And
play. Waste not, want
yeah,
not.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So yeah, but it was all right, very convivial. And he asked me would I go to the game if I was invited. I said, well, or am I going to the game? I said, no. Would you go to the game? Yeah, why not? And he said, have you been invited? I said, nah, no chance. I've been invited back once. That's by a supporter. So I said, but he's part of the inner circle match day hospitality clique, so he ain't got to worry about tickets. Um, yeah, so there we have it.
just before we move on from that, very quickly, before we move back to a bit of analysis and coaching tips, confirm Leighton Orient play City on Saturday. It's the first game. I think it's on BBC. It's 12:15, 12:30, 12:45, like you say.
Yeah,
Is the article going to be in on the Saturday paper, do you think, or the Friday? Or has he given you a
I'll be
definite
honest.
yet?
You know what he said to me? He goes, look, a lot of people ain't thought of that. He said it's the such and such anniversary of something. I think it's the 30th anniversary of almost to the day, or to the day when we played at home in the FA Cup to Nottingham Forest. And for some unknown reason, mental reason, mad reason, other than the fact that I might have been coming back from a ruptured Achilles, I was sub and I came on a sub and I came on a sub in midfield and we took the lead 1-0. We got beat 2-1 and Brian Clough was still the manager and he went to walk straight away and then I think Frank called out to him and they just had a little wet kipper handshake, you know what I mean? But yeah, something to do with that. And then um, they come up about the 25th anniversary of the promotion side that I captained. And I said to Terry, like with regards to people like giving me the fisheye at a funeral we both attended for Bernie Dixon Youth Development, I said like I forwarded my apologies with Andy Gilson, said that why I couldn't go. We had it had been arranged for months. My daughter's engagement, she was going to be married the following year in Santorini. Of her husband's on his mum's side, Italian, Maltese. I said they're very formal about these things, and I couldn't say no, scrap it. I've got to go to this. Uh,
Yeah.
so I just said, wish everyone a lovely evening for me. Make my apologies why I can't be there, which is what he did. And I'll be a bit of blowback on Twitter, but anyway, what can you do? Fuck it, you know what I mean? You can't. You can only, and then they're the 30th. So they obviously thought, well, if he ain't coming to 25th, you won't want to come to the 30th. So I didn't even get an invite for that one. I only captained the side there, you know what I mean? And 6 years, one of the best, most consistent performers, and then 4 years as a coach. So 10 years service. I don't know. Not that I'm angry or bitter about it, but
Moving swiftly on.
moving
They're
swiftly on.
they're
Yeah.
they're lost, John. They're lost. Let's go. Let's
It'd
go
be a
and
good game. Could be a good game weekend. I mean, if they're going to take anything out of the
face
it'd
the
be a
chances,
scout
maybe.
report. How do you do a scouting report on City? Well, I know the scouting report I'll do, and they say if you they're reaping the thing. They had a blip weekend, 1-0. They lost at home to Stockport, but they'd been on a
Yeah.
blinding run. They're still well within the captive part of the playoffs. It's in their hands. And you've got a couple of homegrown players, you've got a couple of purchases, and it's been bulked up with quality loan signings, which is exactly what I said 30 years ago from higher standard clubs like Spurs. I think once a couple of Spurs, I think QPR maybe one. I'm
Mm.
not sure, but anyway, especially in the forward areas.
I
Yeah.
mean,
So
I
what if they're going to give themselves any chance? One thing I would say is don't sit back. They can't afford to
yeah.
sit back because it just happened too quick around the Orange penalty. It just happened too quick. And with the players they've got, they just don't think they'll be able to react to it. So what they've got to do is try and press as high up the field as possible and be switched on if it gets rebounded on them, because inevitably it will. And that's when you've got to be switched on. You're probably at your most vulnerable when you've actually got the ball. If you're not concentrating. Yeah. So that
Could
is
get a bit
that is
messy.
a coaching point, by the way. Yeah.
Could get messy if they sit back, I expect. But
Yeah. I
who
mean,
knows?
I'll be honest with you. You never know, but
FA Cup
I don't see an upset. But you never know,
on.
especially in terms of the form both clubs have been in, contrasting contrasting veins of form, sort of thing. So we'll see.
We will see. Um,
I'll either go to work or I might do watching it on the BBC.
yeah, good point. In the last 10 minutes already, we've kind of sort of flitted around a bit with the weekend's performance, trying to mention as many as we can. Um, we spoke a lot about them last week or the week before, Forest. I don't want to dwell too much on it, but after getting tubbed by um, Bournemouth the week before to end their winning streak, they came back in quite the fashion at the weekend with the lunchtime game on Saturday against
I thought it was an
Brighton.
amazing performance. I thought it was an amazing. Again, I only see the highlights. I only see match of the day. But you know what I liked about them? I liked the fact that they were very direct at times. That's not advocating like thing. I'm just on about playing the appropriate pass, the right pass at the right time. And sometimes they built through, and sometimes it just went bump, little jink, bump, goal. And
Mm.
you're not going to get anything more direct. You know, we're back to the thing that I didn't agree with that I had to come through with the three passes or less. Majority of goals under Charles, the majority of goals are scored with, so obviously it's a play on words because it didn't legislate or didn't include in the package, the fact that the ball could be pinched back and it could be an incisive pass and then set to the side and then whipped in like it was. The one that I really liked was the Woods header. I think it was broken up and then it was served out to the winger. He was on fire. Is it Alanga?
Elanga, yeah.
Alanga. He was absolutely on fire that day. On fire. And
Just
and
quick,
it's not an easy pass because it's not a
no,
long distance, but the shape and the whip and the trajectory that he put on it was perfect. Just
yeah.
perfect.
He, I mean, it sounds a dumb sentence to say, but he literally landed on Chris Wood's head, didn't he? And bypassed the whole defence, like the two centre halves, the other fullback. Yeah, tremendous cross.
Yeah.
Just on Elanga quickly. I was reading in the reports today. I couldn't remember the exact details, but read these. They got him off Man United. I think 15 mils. So Man United sold Elanga for 15 mil to Forest, who you've just extolled the virtues of his performance yesterday, and he's having a very good season. And they bought Anthony for 80.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's what I've said
you
all
know,
along. It's disgusting. And whoever's involved in the dealings, involved in the decisions at every level. I've questioned loads of things at every level with regards to I don't know what they call them, technical director or director of football or
sporting director, some
sporting director's another one. I just said either never do business with the agents again concerned, or sack the geezer and or both. You know what I mean? Because they've had their pants pulled down again. I mean, it's just like a massive £80 million disappointment. It's just taking, like politically at the moment with all the goings on tonight with Thames Water and all that, and then you look at the goings on in London, just taking the mickey out of the taxpayer, literally taking the mickey. And that's what they're doing. It's like an ATM. Supporters' money is like a bottomless pit of money that's a constant ATM for clubs because it's like Brady said, they follow the brand. And once they follow the brand, they follow the brand for life. Well, they're taking the mickey out of their money. You know what I mean? It's not nowhere near in any way, shape, or form good value to sell someone like that and buy a massive disappointment and like be 65 million worse off in the meantime. You know what I mean? It's shocking,
it's
shocking bit of business.
yeah,
Yeah.
just to say the least.
And
To
good
say
for the
the least.
kid because he's reinvented himself. Because I really
Yeah,
like he could be in the thing for um maybe manager of the year, Rob. So a spirit a
yeah.
spirit of Santa. After especially after the way he was treated at Spurs as well. That was a too short a stay. But I just like the way he's done things there and the buys they've made and the way they've built from the back and the dependable, fantastic goalkeeper. Odd blip, but by and large, great. You just want from your goalkeeper, your centre backs, you just want consistency in performance, and that's the secret we had in a couple of the decent sides I played in at Gillingham and Leighton Orient in particular. Millwall sometimes, Chelsea nowhere near it. Chopping and changing the goalkeeper all the time. I played with like I think four different goalkeepers. And then they're moving full backs and then they're swapping them over and then they're moving the centre backs around and you're getting a new partner every other week. It's so people don't understand it's critical. And that's what I like. And good thing about just going back to the Spurs thing, they've got I read the other day they're back in training. Both the thing I like them both. I think they're the top two centre backs in the Premier League. and a top pairing is the Argentinian and the uh,
Yeah,
the
Romero
left
and Van de Ven.
Van der Ven, the left footer. Yeah,
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 well, just as well they are because another reading through the reports again today, one of their standing centre halves, I think he's Romanian, Dragostin or Dragostin, something like that. He's gone down.
yeah.
He's gone down
Yeah, but
quick. So they lost
listen,
another one.
he's no loss because when I look at the way he's played the last few weeks, I'm thinking of making a comeback. Yeah, I think honestly, it's embarrassing his decision making. His lack of desire to get like just get a block on, get a foot in. His positional play. There's he's not bossing anyone. He's not dominating in the air. He's not dominating on the ground. Just do something. Give me something. Show me something.
Yeah.
Shocking. Got shredded every time I've seen him. No loss.
Well, we've got 3 minutes left on this episode, John. There's about an hour and a quarter left in the transfer window. With the rate that Spurs are dropping their players, including their centre halves, get someone to stick a call in their hands.
Yeah,
Maybe
might
he'll.
get put a call in. I meant to go to the training ground to see an old teammate of mine. He takes the under 21s, and he invited me in. So we just got to get it arranged and get round to it. We did arrange it, and then he remembered they had the game
Hmm.
um, yesterday. I was meant to go today, but it just it pan out. I'll go and look. He said that I look forward to seeing me again, and I can watch how he turns very good players into average ones.
Well, on that note, I think we'll, like I say, we're sort of coming to an end this evening. So just very quickly, you mentioned it very briefly earlier. It's the AFL Cup semi-final, second leg this week.
Predictions, yeah, predictions, yeah,
Newcastle 2 up against the Arsenal and
yeah,
Newcastle at home.
yeah,
Spurs 1 up against Liverpool
yeah.
and second legs at Anfield. No away goals. So who are you fancying?
Well, if they play like they did yesterday, both sides, I fancy a Liverpool Arsenal final. If Arsenal set about and they want that trophy and they set about thing, having said that, it's a big thing to claw back. So I fancy Liverpool to overturn the 1-0 deficit if they put out a full strength side.
Yeah, I think
It
they will.
depends on the teams that they select.
Mm.
I do like the thought of Ange winning something. I did say early on when we were talking in August, September, October about predictions for the season. I said I fancy Spurs for one of the cups. Maybe this might be it. That'd be something. If it can go up there and keep a clean sheet, that'd be some achievement.
I'll say.
Or nick a 2-1, you know what I mean, or 1-1 to win on aggregate. Um, yeah, at
Ta-
The Newcastle Arsenal game's a big ask. I think to claw two back, but that they're more than capable. If anyone's capable, it's Arsenal.
Could be extra time and pens on either or both, John.
Yeah,
Right, we are right out of time, unfortunately. So very quickly, thank you from me for tonight. Hopefully, last week's episode, the episodes before. Please keep sharing and watching and liking. Comment on YouTube on John's channel when you watch it. We'll endeavour to answer the comments, put some questions forward. Thank you very much.
much obliged. Thanks everyone. Watch, like, share, subscribe. If you've got any questions for us, by all means come through. And thanks again for your time, Rob. See you
Thanks
guys.
all.
Thank you.
Good night.